Happy Sunday. And Lord knows, thank you, Jesus, for your covering. It is a happy Sunday. Welcome to Let's Talk About You. I am your host, Camela Francis. It's always an honor and a privilege to have you joining us today and every Sunday. And I just want to say my prayers go out to everyone that's in the path of Aaron. Um, we had, so it was a little triggering, I will admit, but thank God, even though we had lots of rain, power outages, internet issues, everyone is fine. Some people did have flooding that I've heard, but we're good. We're good. And I am forever grateful. So thank God for his mercy and his grace. And thank you for joining us here today. And let's talk about you. We're able to still do it. We are able to still do it. Today, of all days, isn't it good? We're talking about what? Insurance. And, we're in a hurricane zone, and we're going to talk about the importance of insurance. Not so much so the property insurance, but just insurance as a whole. What insurance means and what it means to us as a Virgin Islander, the importance of having insurance, learning about different types of insurance, the benefits of these different types of insurance, um, the coverage for individuals versus a group, and just building your knowledge on the subject, because sometimes it could be a little leery. Why should I? Can I? I can't afford it. It's too much. They're taking too much out. So here today, we have a great guest. I mean, season 6 has just been phenomenal. We have Julian West. He is a friend, he's a brother, he's a father. He is the husband to Renata West. They have 3 beautiful children, Titan, Victoria, and Zion. He has over 20 years experience of serving brands like Marriott, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. And now, after relocating to the Virgin Islands to be with his family and building his brand and increasing his brand, he has Titan Insurance. And I just figured it is just, we already had this show planned. But because of what just happened a couple hours ago, it is so important to know about insurance, what it offers, and how you can benefit from different types of insurance. Without further ado, come on in the room, Julian West.
Hey, Camela.
Welcome to Let's Talk About You.
Hey, Camela. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you said yes. And I hope that everyone fared well for you with
Yeah,
this, what we've been through for the past couple hours.
yeah. I heard you talking about it. It definitely was triggering. Especially after going through what we went through with Irma and Maria, and just seeing the path that the storm was taking, and as well just how quickly it intensified, very much like Irma and Maria did. So, I'm glad we were spared. I'm glad it missed us. I hope everyone is individually and collectively as a community. I hope everyone's doing well.
Yes. And I'm grateful that we still can have the opportunity to do this show as well because of, the phone has been phoning, the internet has been interneting, Whopper has been whoppering, but there's no
Right.
complaints, especially with the whoppering. I understand. I totally give everyone grace because the grace that we got,
Very
I
true.
mean, so I'm just grateful that we can just dive into it. But I want to talk to you also about, you had a long career about sales and marketing and across some major brands. What
Yeah.
make what make why did you decide to transition to insurance?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say I transitioned to insurance. I kind of transitioned back to insurance.
Okay.
When I moved here back in, I think it was at the end of 2012, beginning of 2013, I moved here and I took an opportunity in sales and timeshare with Marriott, something I also never said I would do. But I got into it because it was a product and a brand that I believed in. And I was glad that I did it because one of the things that I learned in working with the Marriott organization is service, and the way that they not only took care of their clients, but the way they took care of their employees as well. It stood out from some of the other companies that I've been a part of. So being a part of an organization like that and seeing the way that they operate and do business, it definitely was an inspiration to the way that I carry myself and the way that I conduct my business. And, when I had the opportunity to go out on my own, like I said, going into insurance, it was kind of an easy decision because it was something I'd always done. I'd worked for Wells Fargo for a number of years in banking, and a lot of my job involved insurance when I was with Wells Fargo. As I mentioned, also with Bank of America and Merrill Lynch as a financial advisor, and also again in that role, a lot of it was right. It's all kind of wrapped into that role. After Irma and Maria, and going through some career changes, because after Irma and Maria, we didn't have hotels, we didn't really have timeshare, vacationing. So I had to make a career change, and things were somewhat unstable and uncertain during those times because we were all rebounding from hurricanes and everything that happened. And then of course COVID hit. So after COVID hit, I was actually with Bank of America, Merrill Lynch at the time, and they started to bring everything back to their banking centers. And again, this is home for me. I moved here with the intention of it being home, and I certainly wasn't going to leave, again, just because things weren't necessarily going our way. And the opportunity was presented to fully go into insurance, and I did that, embraced that, and did very well with the company I was with. I performed well, and I was the number one producing agent for them for a few years. And after doing that, I decided I wanted to embark on this journey on my own so I could serve our community in a way that I feel our community deserves and needs to be served.
Well, I am so glad that you decided to do that. And you're right. We had so many life changes after Maria and after COVID. It was just one thing after the next, and we had the choice to make. What is it that we're going to do in this season? What
Right.
changes are we going to make to not only make our lives better, but someone else's life better? Because
Right.
when Maria, it was scary and it was hard, but I wasn't here. I
Mm-hmm.
went to move my daughter into her apartment. So for 31 days, just being a part of the unknown, it was triggering. It's like, what's going on? How is the family doing? Communication was far and in between. And then COVID hit. So it was just like confinement after confinement. And that's when I will say that Let's Talk About You was birthed in during COVID, because I
Mm-hmm.
know someone needed someone to talk to. I know
Right.
someone needed to hear a voice, and I know that I like to talk, so why not? And
Right.
so it depends on which avenue you went, and you chose to do the avenue to bless others. So when you made your shift, because you were forced to, for lack of a better term, and you
Mm-hmm.
decided, you're toiling with the idea of doing insurance.
Mm-hmm.
What made you land on the different fields of insurance that you do, with the different types of insurance coverages that you offer
Right. Well,
from your perspective?
to explain kind of the insurances that I do, I primarily work in group health benefits. So I work with small businesses in the community to help them place an insurance policy with various carriers, whether it be United Healthcare or Cigna or other carriers for some of the voluntary benefits that are available, like the Allstates and the Aflacs. I also write a lot of life insurance for individuals as well as groups. But I chose to get into health insurance because I feel it's something that really is underserved in our community, right? It is available to us, but from an education standpoint, just really understanding how it works, how policies work, the reason why you need to be insured, truly what is health insurance. Those are the reasons why I wanted to get into health insurance, because I see a lot of us don't necessarily understand, why. Why am I paying this money? Why is this money coming out of my paycheck? What is the
And you're
benefit?
right. We don't
Right.
know the why. We just know that, okay, this is a service that our job offers, and we'll do it,
Right.
but a lot of times I don't use it. So why? So yes,
Right.
break that down for us. Why?
Right. And it's the same, it's the same with, life insurance, right? They're, what's my end? Why am I buying into this? What's the reason why? And,
Yes.
unfortunately, we see a lot of times, especially in our community, when people get sick, we're raising money, right? We're creating a GoFundMe page,
GoFundMe's.
right. We're trying to find different ways to bring and pool resources together so we can get grandma sick, so we can make sure that our uncle gets that care that he needs because he didn't unfortunately have the insurance that he needed. And a lot of times those people don't also have life insurance that's needed. So there's your why. The why is because we need to protect us. We need to make sure that we protect our families. And insurance is simply a contract. It's a contract between you and the insurance carrier to say that they're going to insure you and they're going to make sure that no matter what happens, you're going to only pay a guaranteed amount out of pocket for that year, right? That's ultimately what insurance is. You have your deductible, but you have a guaranteed out of pocket maximum that you're guaranteed you're not going to pay over this amount for the year. And that's the protection that you have built into insurance. And that's the true why, because that's what's going to protect your family from, God forbid, something happens and you do have to go to the doctor. You do have to, which it's very common here, right? But I can talk to a group of my friends in the States, and it's probably not something that they experience much. But I think everyone here probably knows someone that's been medevaced out of here, or knows someone who knows someone. That's very common here. That's
It
not
is.
something, right? That's not something that's common with our friends and our family in the States, that you hear about someone being medevaced to a different place, because we don't have a lot of those common services. So with the risks that exist here, the cost that you potentially risk for not having insurance is much greater than any amount coming out of your paycheck, or whatever that amount may be. But I think that the issue is that we need to educate ourselves on, okay, this is coming out of my paycheck, but what do I actually have? What am I paying for? What's going to happen if the worst happens? And those are the conversations that I think that we need to have with each other, so we can make sure that we are insured, so we can prevent, the GoFundMe pages, and when someone gets sick, we're now trying to react to it instead of being proactive about it.
I totally agree. And to even dig down a little deeper with regards to the different types of insurance, tell us the
Mhm.
difference between health insurance and life insurance. And we spoke briefly about the GoFundMe, but I think that's a summary. So just break down the portion that is good to have health insurance, but the
Right.
benefits of having the life insurance.
Yeah, the health insurance is definitely great to have. It's, again, when something happens, you want to have it in place, because the true cost of what it costs when you go to the doctor, or you go to the emergency room, is really not something most of us would want to burden. Having life insurance is just as important, if not more important. Having life insurance is gonna protect not only you, but it's gonna protect your family. And there's different types of life insurance, right? There's term life insurance, and there's whole life insurance, or universal life insurance is what the I guess the kind of one everyone is interested in today, the one that builds cash value, that I can put money into it and I can kind of go take something back at some point. That's great, and it can be realistic, but I hate to ever sell anyone a pipe dream on it. If I'm 43 years old, if I started a universal life policy today and just started paying the premium, it's not likely I would have a great deal of cash value available in that policy, right? It would be more beneficial for me to get something like a term life policy that's going to be less expensive, but is going to provide me more coverage. And if something happens, then my beneficiaries are going to be able to take advantage of that, money, or those monies, when something happens. And there are living benefits as well to a term life policy, where if something happens to you, there's money that's paid out to you. So, paying a little bit of money, and God forbid something happens to you and you need to access money because you're terminally ill or you're chronically ill, life insurance gives you access to money for those instances. So again, it's not just about, God forbid, you die and the worst happens. It's also about the living benefits and protecting yourself while you're here. So, I know a lot of us look at life insurance as, well, it's only going to come into play when I'm dead. And when I'm dead, who cares? But again, those people that are left behind are the ones that we
Yeah,
see.
someone has to bury you.
They have to bury you. They have to take care of your finances. They have to take care of all these things. And we don't get to decide how we go. So at least do something to put something in place to protect yourself and those people so they don't have to be burdened with those costs, right?
Exactly. We're here talking live with Julian West about insurance and the importance of insurance. You can type your questions in. This is a live show here on Let's Talk About You. So tell a friend to tell a friend and share it. And get your notepad and your pen so you could write down the importance, because he just covered some important points about having life insurance, term life, and three different types of life insurance and the benefits of each. I do, some months back, here on Let's Talk About You, we had someone talking about finances and the importance of estate planning. So and just hearing you talk about term life and just the different types of health insurance and life insurance made me think of that show, because it's also talking about estate planning. Having a life policy is a part of having is a good part of to add to your estate planning and having that discussion with your family,
It is.
because as you said and as we know, someone has to take care of your affairs when you pass on. The
Right.
funeral service or non-funeral, the cremation, that's a cost no matter what it is that you want to deal with. And we don't want to go out with the GoFundMe's. We want
No.
to have a little bit at a time. So, I mean, can you give us a guesstimate about how much you could put aside and it will, you know, protect you, and you can purchase a life versus
Yeah.
a whatever?
Yeah. So simple, term life policy, say $250,000 term life policy, it might cost you $500 a year, if that, right? Again, it just really depends on your age and your overall health, but no more than $600 a year, for a moderately healthy person for a $250,000 policy. And again, that goes with you. You don't have to be tied to a job or anything like that. It's a term life policy that no matter what happens, you're covered. And when you really break it down, $500 or $600 a year, that's less than your phone bill probably. So for less than your phone bill, you could protect yourself and some of your assets and be able to leave money for your family and your kids for less than your phone bill, for less than probably what you
Yeah, because
spend.
you're saying $500 a year and not a month. Because I
Yeah.
know a phone bill could be $250 a month.
Yes. That definitely, right? So yeah. So again, life insurance, when you look at it on an annual basis, and you don't have to pay for it monthly. You can pay for it monthly. You can pay for it, by month. Excuse me, biannually. You can pay for it quarterly, or you can pay for it annually, and you can even change that year by year. It's very flexible. The whole point is for you to get started, to get used to making some kind of payment towards it. So if even if you don't get the policy that you feel like you want right now, at least getting started with something so you get used to putting that money aside specifically for life insurance is important. So even if it's a $50,000 policy or $100,000 policy, but what the policy that most of us have at work, it's not enough. It's not gonna bury you and take care of your final expenses that are left behind.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I was going to ask about, when we're generally given health insurance.
Mhm.
Does, I'm not sure. I do have health insurance, but I'm not sure about all the nuances and underwriting of what is offered when you
Right.
have the insurance at work. So when you're offered health insurance at work, do you suggest that additional life insurance should be added to what it is that you have?
Yes, absolutely. Buying life insurance through work is one of the least expensive ways to buy life insurance, and is also one of the least intrusive ways to buy life insurance, because typically you don't have to do any kind of questionnaire about your health. You don't have to do any health screenings. You can just purchase it because you're associated with the employer. Now, sometimes those policies don't stay with you when you leave the employer, or you can't take them with you when you leave the employer. But some employers also do offer what are called portable policies, or a policy that once you leave, if you decide you want to keep it, you can continue paying that premium that you were paying with that employer, which again is a huge benefit because you're going to pay far less in a group plan than you would pay for individual health insurance, because individual health insurance is rated specifically on you and your health, whereas a group plan is going to be an overall rating on the group that the health insurance is being bought from. So if you do have the opportunity to buy additional life insurance from your employer, I would highly encourage it. But also keep in mind with your employer, and a lot of employer policies, the benefits get reduced once you reach a certain age. So once you're 65, it gets reduced to 65% of the actual benefit. And then once you're 70 and so forth and so on. So those benefits can sometimes decrease. So you just have to be very conscientious of exactly what it is that you're also purchasing and the purpose that you're purchasing it for.
And that's good to know as well. Also, we all know that your health is important when it deals with coverages, but also the age. And based
Right.
on your age, you're less covered because of your age.
Well,
So
the benefit goes down in terms of life insurance, because typically when people reach 65, now we're talking about reaching the age of retirement, as well as going on Medicare and things like that. So if you're still on your employer's in policy, they typically reduce your benefits. Various reasons tie into that. But
I'm glad that you mentioned about Medicare, and you may or may not know, but based on how things are going now and the changes in the Medicare, Medicaid on the federal level, is that trickling down to you and changing your insurance policy or your premiums and what's offered?
Not really. What changes, what really factors into our premiums here, and what factors into premiums as a whole, is going to be the overall rating or overall health of the demographic in the area that you're in, right? So they're going to look at the Virgin Islands, right? That's our demographic, and they're going to look at the overall health of Virgin Islanders, and what does that health look like across the board for all industries, not just your industry, but for all industries. So when they look at it and they rate it, we unfortunately don't get rated very well because we have a very high instance of hypertension and diabetes, and those things cost significantly when it comes to healthcare. So you can see significant increases, just again, depending on the group size and their overall claims experience. What I try to manage and do is really look at how you're using your insurance. And I look at that from a group standpoint and somewhat from a member standpoint as well. If I can kind of look at how you're using your insurance as a group and, kind of break it down to, common things that you're doing or common usage, I can better recommend a policy to you as a business that may potentially save you money, right? You don't have to have a $500 deductible plan just because it's a $500 deductible plan. If you don't know how to use it, then quite frankly, you're paying for something that you're not truly getting the value for. So where I more so work with businesses is to find out, what do you specifically want to do with your insurance, and why do you need to do that with your insurance? Of course, I'm HIPAA protected, so the things that you share with me are private. So you can share those things with me about, how you use insurance and why you need to use it this way. And the more I know, then the better I can educate you and the better I can advise you on, this is why this plan is going to work for you. And it makes my clients at least less scared to take a higher deductible plan because they actually know how their insurance works when they go and use it.
And that's good to know as well, because, when you hear about some astronomical deductibles, $10,000 deductibles, $5,000 deductibles, you feel like, I haven't used my deductible throughout the year. I haven't met my deductible. Even though I've been, you've gone to the doctor, you did your basic checkup or whatever else is needed. Sometimes you don't even have the opportunity to meet your deductible. And it's good to know that you ask the specific questions. What is it that you need, and how can what you offer best suit your clientele? Because that's excellent to know. Because, I can tell you based on my experience, a lot of times I don't meet my deductible and
Yeah, most
and
people
it's
don't.
just like
Yeah,
these
and
huge numbers.
yeah, and most people don't. And that's the reality of it is that the majority of people don't reach their deductible in an annual plan year. But that's exactly the way insurance is designed. That you're not supposed to meet your deductible, God forbid, unless you get sick or something happens. That's what the deductible's for, right? It's the same. And I hate to break it down in terms of a car,
No,
but
we need you to break it down
right,
first so we could understand the benefits. Because it's right now what we've been
right,
through. We need to understand the importance of the insurance, having health insurance and life insurance. Because
right.
even though we're not talking about property insurance, you
Mhm.
know, the trigger in effect from this storm, or even though that nothing major happened, that's a mental thing. Someone may need to go to speak to someone about the triggering effects of just the flooding and the water and the noise and the lightning and the thundering. So it's good to know, what can my insurance do for me? How can
Right.
I use my insurance? Can I use it to speak to someone, after what it is
Mhm.
that I've been through? So it's good.
Absolutely.
I need you to break it down.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that point, a lot of plans, most plans these days come with what's called an EAP, or an employer assistance program, where if you need mental health services, you can access mental health services, and it's included in the cost of your premium. So you don't have to pay anything extra for it. And again, I think a lot of those things that are included in your plan or available to you through your employer's plan, it's just being, again, educated on what's available to you, and knowing where to go when you have a question about it. And for me, again, that's a big reason why I got involved in insurance here specifically, is because we do need that. We need someone to be able to go to when we have a question and say, well, how does this work? How does it, this is the problem. Tell me how this works to fix this problem.
Yes.
And I wasn't really seeing a lot of that, right? So that's why I really wanted to kind of throw my hat in the ring here, because I want to be available, and I have been available to my clients and to their members when they have a question or when they have a need. Whether it's as simple as, hey, I need an ID card, or I don't understand how this works. Why am I being charged for this? Right? Understanding as well that dental and vision providers in the territory, they're not in network here. They don't have to take your insurance. And a lot of us don't understand that we have insurance, yes, and we can go to the dentist, yes, but they don't have to take your insurance there, because they're not in the network. They don't
In a
exist
network.
right. They don't have a partnership. And what a network is, to understand what a network is a group of providers that have agreed to be a part of essentially an organization that works with carriers. And those carriers have agreed to pay an agreed upon fee that those providers will take for commonly access services, dental cleanings, regular routine surgeries, right? The doctors in that network agree to take that fee that those carriers are willing to pay those providers. If the provider doesn't want to agree to that, they don't have to participate in the network. So that's why the dentists and the vision providers here are not in network, because they don't want to agree to take the fee, which is less than what they can charge from the carriers, which are the United Healthcares and the Cignas. So, but if you've ever wondered why, that's the why. You
See,
can
that's
use
good
it.
to know. And that's why we're here live talking to Julian West, the one with the knowledge and the information with regards to the insurance that can answer those questions. Because a lot of times we don't think about it. We just think, okay, our employer offers insurance and we're fine with the health. But now you're saying health is not enough. We need the life, because there
Yeah,
is life after death, because someone has to take care of you. And
absolutely.
that's good to know.
Yeah, absolutely. And not just having the life insurance, but also and I would recommend anyone who hasn't done it or who hasn't looked into it, but also look into making sure that your family has a trust, right? Not just a life insurance and a will, but making sure it has a trust. Everybody knows someone who's in probate here, right? Somebody's property or somebody's will or something is in probate, and it's because there was no trust, right? All your
Right.
will does, and I learned this from Steve Lowe, but all your will does is just get you in the front of the line in probate, which is still 10 years long.
Yeah.
So
It is.
make sure your family has that trust, and make sure those life insurances and different things like that are going to your family's trust. So that way, the things, the wishes and everything that you have now, you can put those in place. It's very simple and very easy to do. It's just having access to the knowledge and the resources, and where to go.
Thank you for that. And when you say that your clients that you deal with small businesses, do you deal with individuals as well?
Unfortunately, we're not allowed to.
Okay.
There is no individual health insurance technically for individuals in the territory. There is a policy that's underwritten through Caribbean Risk Group that offers some individual coverage, but it's not something that I offer. I'm only able to work with clients who have a business. And United Healthcare is very liberal in that we're able to write sole proprietorships. So if you're a business of one, and it's just you and you don't have any employees, but you need health insurance, you would qualify for a policy with United Healthcare. Now, again,
Oh, good to
albeit
know.
it is going to be at the employer rate. So you're going to pay the same rate as your employee would pay, or excuse me, as your employer would pay for you and an employee, right? You pay that whole rate because it's a business policy. But yes, you can qualify for insurance as a sole proprietorship in the territory through United Healthcare. It's very easy.
Well, that's good to know too, because a lot of entrepreneurs, they are uninsured because they figure that the premiums are too high for them to get involved in having insurance policies. But let
Right.
me ask you, are there any tax advantages or any other hidden benefits to people that may not realize about certain types of insurance?
Well, yeah, absolutely. If one, your health insurance, especially as a small business, if you're a small business that provides health insurance, that is tax deductible. Of course, I have to tell you to consult your CPA, or your accountant professional. But yes, those expenses that you pay for yourself or employees for health insurance is definitely tax deductible. Life insurance, the same. Life insurance is money usually that you're putting towards the premium after taxes. So that money that you put into life insurance, yeah, you can definitely write that off in taxes as well. Again, I have to tell you to consult a tax professional. But yes, putting into life insurance and health insurance, it definitely does create some kind of tax savings benefit. As well, putting money into what is called an HSA or an FSA account, which is attached to your health insurance in some cases. That money you can put in there and it grows tax deferred, and it also reduces your income. So there's tax benefits as well, just from a health insurance standpoint. And what an HSA or FSA is, an HSA is a health savings account, and an FSA is a flexible spending account. The benefit to those is if you have small children, right, dependent care, if you have daycare expenses, or you're buying diapers, or again, any childcare expenses that kind of want to put somewhere else, you can put that money into your FSA, have that money taken directly out of your paycheck and put into that FSA, and you can use that money to pay for those expenses. With an HSA, if you want to save for a medical procedure, or you want to make sure that you have money there to pay for your deductible, you can take money out of your paycheck biweekly, monthly, however you want to, put it into your HSA. But again, there's no taxes on that because it's coming out pre-tax. And the benefit is now that money's going to grow faster because it's coming out pre-tax, and it also can roll over for you year after year. So that money can grow for you and it's actually there when you need it. So not only is it tax deferred, but now you also have an actual health savings account, a real health savings account. So when
Right.
something does happen, right? Because we talk about, well, what if something happens now? Where's the money? Now you actually have a way where you can tap into the money if something happens, because you have that HSA that you can go and you can put that charge on when you have a baby,
So is
right?
this for the individual or the employer
No, it's for the
or both?
individual. No, it's for the individual.
Okay.
So the HSA is for
It-
the individual. For the employer, the benefit of providing insurance in general, that's a tax write-off because
Okay.
you're providing insurance for your employees. It's a business expense. But the HSA is a great benefit for not only employees and employers, because what an HSA does is it helps reduce the overall cost of the premium that you pay for health insurance, because you're taking a portion of the money that's going into your paycheck, and you're putting that towards the HSA. So when you do need to go to the doctor, when you have higher expenses, you actually have money to pay towards those expenses because you're taking out of your check anyways. So an HSA account, as well as an HSA type of insurance, is a great way when employers are looking to provide insurance and also save money. It's a great way to do so. But again, there definitely comes some education with understanding how the plan totally works.
I hope the listening audience, you guys are taking notes, because this is just opening up my eyes on a whole new way of looking at my health insurance and benefits that I didn't tap in on, that I sure will be trying to tap in on now. So if you have any questions, Julian, let's take a nugget here and tell our listening audience, how can they reach you? We still have some more questions, but tell
Yeah,
our
absolutely.
listening audience, how can they reach you? Because I know they're going to have more questions.
Absolutely. You can visit us at our website. It is www.titan-vi.com. You can also reach me at my email, which is Julian, Julian, @titan-vi.com. And of course, you can reach out to us on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, that's good. We have some comments here from our listening audience. Which insurance? Can you see, Julian? Because
Yeah,
my
which
screen
health
is smaller than
insurance
yours.
does which health insurance does Titan Insurance market? We market health insurance for United Healthcare as well as Cigna, and on all of their platforms. United Healthcare has 3 different platforms: their fully insured platform, as well as their level funded platform. Level funded is a platform that's in between what is a fully insured plan and what's the hot topic right now, which is a self-funded, or what's called an ASO plan. A level funded plan falls in the middle of that, and it offers the best of both worlds in that if you do really well in your claims experience, you can get a refund against your premiums. So it's a great way for employers to save money. But if you have a bad claims year, unfortunately, people get sick, you have very high claims, it works just like a traditionally insured plan. So there's a win-win scenario in there for employers who are looking for a way to save money, but also want to offer outstanding benefits. And then there are global platforms on both United Healthcare as well as the Cigna side. And of course, the Cigna domestic is, those are the health insurance carriers that I offer. And then I also work with ancillary providers that offer short-term disability, long-term disability, hospital indemnity, critical illness, cancer policies. And those are the Aflacs in all states of the world.
Oh, that's good to know. In addition to the insurance company, the benefits that can help you organize how it is that you want to live your life and
Mhm.
plan for the future, take care of your kids. And, we can consider that as a wealth building tool. So
Absolutely.
can you give us some pointers on some more wealth building tools and how to use your insurance to gain wealth?
Yeah, I've been working in timeshare, and just some of the people I've had the opportunity to be around in life. One thing that I've always seen and learned from them is they've always had obscene amounts of insurance, because it is one of the biggest and quickest ways to transfer wealth. It's a great transference of wealth, because the cost that you pay for the insurance far outweighs the benefit that's received from it. So for my wife and I, and our family, if we want to ensure that our kids and the next generation beyond them are definitely going to be in a good position, it only benefits us to have some type of insurance, or insurances, not just on ourselves, but also to put insurance on them, because for them and for your children, they're young. The sense in this, and the I guess the unfortunate joke for us all, is that nobody gets out of this thing alive. We all end life the same way. And it would be foolish of us if we have those resources and we could put those in place, not to insure our loved ones and make sure that, again, we can leave this place and them better than we found it. And again, life insurance especially is one of the quickest and easiest ways to be able to do that, just to make sure, again, not only are you protecting, the people that you're insuring, but you're protecting yourselves, because again, it's not the person who passes away who really needs the life insurance. It's those of us that are left behind, right? I cannot stress that enough.
Yes.
And you know, that's the part that we don't look at, is that it's hard. And it was hard for me personally, to be honest with you, even to have the conversation with my mother about life insurance, because, you know, we're talking about my mother's mortality. And, you know, hey, mom, you know, how much do you think you need to cover things when you're no longer here? I understand those are uncomfortable conversations to have, but it's much
But
easier to have those
I
conversations.
believe you. These are questions that we definitely need to have.
We
Those
do.
are the questions we need to have.
We do. We should. We
And
owe
you
it
know,
to
and the
ourselves.
more that, what do you consider being underinsured? You know, we talked about, you know, having life insurance and the policies that you write for life and health. But what do you consider being, or our listening audience, you know, put in the comment like Nikki did, and ask any question that you have. We have a few more, we have some time that
Right.
Mr. West may be able to answer with regards to your insurance inquiries, things that you may not have thought of. This is the time to ask. This is a one-on-one, and you're getting free service.
Absolutely.
But tell our
The,
listening audience, you know, what do you consider being underinsured?
well, being underinsured, you know, just flat out just not having enough insurance to take care of your final needs, you know, your ultimate needs. You know, and we're not talking about a car. We're talking about you in general. If you were to go to the doctor, God forbid, and you needed to be airlifted out of here, can you go? And I think that's the question we all need to ask ourselves. Would you be able to go, or would you be stuck here? And I think here we can all agree that that would qualify as underinsured, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of services, and I can speak to it myself, you know, for in experiences I've had. But there's a lot of services, unfortunately, that are unavailable to us here. So, do you have enough insurance that, God forbid, something happened, you would be able to make it out of here and get somewhere where you would be able to receive the type of care that you need to get back to where you need to be? And if you question that, if you have to think too hard and too long on that, then you definitely may want to, you know, kind of put your priorities in order, and find out ways to at least make sure you take care of that. Because, and again, just having AeroMD or Global Medevac and paying that membership, it's not enough. It doesn't work like that. Right? You don't pay that membership and then something happens to you and you don't have any health insurance, and then they put you on the plane. That's not how it works. Right? That Global Medevac or AeroMD has to coordinate with some health insurance carrier to agree to pay for your medical expenses when they take you wherever you're going. So just having that AeroMD card or that Global Medevac card that's not enough. You need to have some kind of health insurance that when they call and they say they need to, you know, airlift Julian West to, you know, Miami-Dade, you know, trauma center, I need to make sure that the insurance company is going to say yes, because if not, the plane never leaves. That's how it works behind the scenes. So again, those are the things that we need to be asking ourselves, and we need to be having the conversations around the dinner table of, you know, do we at least have enough insurance that if something happens, we're going to be taken care of.
You're right, to have those hard conversations. And speaking about hard conversations, let me go back a little bit. You talked about, you know, planning for your family and, you know, just to have a nest egg, not just for you, but for your kids. They too should have insurance on them. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't hear that often. And I'm not saying it's a Caribbean thing. It's just you don't hear about I'm putting insurance on my kids. They have health insurance, but you don't think of life insurance for the kids.
Right. And I guess that's a conversation that really depends on, you know, what circles you have that conversation in. But it's definitely a conversation we should be having. We should be insuring our kids. Why would we not insure our kids? If we care about them, right? We care for them, and we know we can't always be around them. And we've seen horrible things that have happened. countless times, time after time after time. And we all, we want to hope that, hey, it'll never be us, but it's never too far, right? It's never too far from us. And you buy insurance just in case, right? And again, for children, it's not even because children are basically rated, when they're under 25 years old, they're almost free from a life insurance standpoint. It might cost you $25 a year, for $25,000, $50,000 in coverage for a child. So why would you not do that? It just doesn't make sense that you could put that in place and you choose not to, just because you feel like you feel like you're throwing away money, or what am I really getting out of?
Because at the end of the day, as you said, we don't want to think of the inevitable. We think that our kids will bury us, and they're not the other way around.
And we have to get out of the mindset as well of thinking that insurance is a waste of money. It's a scam. It's a racket. And to some point, right? If you go, 30 years and nothing ever happens, God bless you. You are a very fortunate person. And to you, insurance probably does feel like a scam or a racket. But for some people, or for that person who was sick for 30 years and they had insurance in place, and yes, they reached their deductible and out-of-pocket maximum every year, but they knew what that was going to be. Insurance is the biggest blessing they've ever had, right? So it really depends on the person that you ask, the true value of what insurance is. Because if you're someone who's had to use it and it's gotten you back to health, or it's at least kept you going a little bit longer, then you're very thankful for it. But if you're someone who's never really gotten a great value out of it, I can totally understand why you would feel the way that you feel, that you're paying for something and you're not getting the value of what you're paying for. But I would also say in that, let's find a better way to educate you and find a way to make sure that you are getting something that you're comfortable paying for and you feel like you're getting the value out of it.
I totally agree. So in addition to having those hard questions in your family, in your circle, what are some of the questions that I made my list. What are the questions should I ask my insurance agent, or, about the best policy for me, or just about policies in general? What are a list of questions we should have ready?
Well, you should definitely want to ask your insurance agent to help you understand how the co-insurance versus the co-pays work in your plan, right? Co-insurance is what's going to get you into paying into your deductible, right? And again, co-pays, the benefit of co-pays is it goes towards the overall cost amount of money you spend in your plan, but it's usually not subject to a deductible. So having co-pays in a lot of cases benefits you, because you know what you're going to pay at the point of service for the service before you go. Versus co-insurance, it's a percentage of whatever that fee might be plus your deductible, and you have to start getting into some math there, right? So if you're not one of those people who feel comfortable with trying to figure out what the cost of the service is going to be, you want to be able to have that conversation with your agent and say, I need to see plans that offer me more co-pays versus co-insurance, right? Understanding what is going to be subject to deductible versus what's not subject to deductible. All plans, right? All plans cover preventative care. That is covered in your premium. So it doesn't matter if it's a $500 deductible, a $0 deductible, or $8,000 deductible. Preventative care is covered at 100%. That's mammograms, child wellness, women's wellness, those labs and x-rays that come with you getting your annual physicals and things like that. Some of the tests that you need to get once we get certain ages. Definitely want to make sure men that are over 40, especially African-American men, prostate exams, please make sure you're getting that. But again, all of those exams, once you get to a certain age, because of the ACA or Obamacare, all that stuff is included in the cost of your premium. So you ask, well, what am I really getting out of this? Those are the things that you're getting out of this. When that money comes out of your check every month, the lab or that physical that you do every year to make sure that you're in good health, that's included in that premium that's coming out of your paycheck every month. You're not paying extra for that. It's when you go get additional services outside of the preventative care that you're getting into your deductibles and your co-insurance. So again, how does that work versus, again, when I go and I need to go to the doctor because I got sick? What does it look like when I go to the specialist? Right? Those are the things that are going to dictate the cost of your care. And if you can kind of narrow down your conversations with your agent of explain to me how my insurance is going to work from a co-insurance and copay standpoint. Explain to me what's going to happen when I need to go to my primary care physician versus going to the specialist. If you can narrow it down to those things, you can really kind of determine the deductible and the plan type that you need rather than buying what you're given.
That is some good pointers, and I hope our listening audience, you've been taking note and writing this all down. And tell us also about you said that you service more of the smaller businesses instead of the big.
Yeah, I work with all size businesses. Like I said, whether it be from 1 or 2 employees all the way up to 2,000 employees, it doesn't matter the size. What I do, like I said, is more so going to be boutique to the business. If you're a business that just needs insurance and you need to get out of the way, then we'll find a good plan for you, and I'll get out of your way. If you need me to work with you and make sure that your members have support because that's not a part of your shop, then I'll absolutely do that for you as well. That's what my job as an agent and broker is to kind of work with you the way that you need me to work with you, to adapt to your business versus you adapting to the way that I do business. So I'm more so kind of a pocket knife for my clients and for the people that I work with. And, however you need me to work with you and support you is how I'm willing to work with you and support you. And that's what I really mean about being more so of a boutique agency to what we need here in the territory. Everyone's needs aren't the same, right? Everyone doesn't need the same support from an insurance standpoint. Like I said, some people just need me to provide them the insurance policy and get out of their way. Some people need me to do a little bit more hands-on managing of their policy, more of the day-to-day, the helping them file claims and making sure that they can, get access to certain providers and things like that. And either way, I have no problem with it. It's, it's part of what I do.
We see, that's good to know that, the information, not only that you are a boutique insurance agency, you have a wealth of knowledge because you open up my eyes to so many things that I've been paying for insurance for that I didn't realize how I could use this policy that I've been a part of for these years to benefit myself. And yes, in addition to my regular health insurance at work, I do have the life insurance, but I didn't realize how my health insurance could have worked better for me, even though it's being paid, how I can use it more so to my benefit. And based on the information that you provided here today, I've been taking notes too.
Awesome.
I have been taking notes. So we're here with Julian West of Titan Insurance, and he has been a phenomenal guest. He has a wealth of knowledge with regards to the insurance, that coverage, how he can be a benefit to us here in the Virgin Islands, because we need it. We do need boutique agencies and agents that can make you feel comfortable, that you can definitely ask a question. And it's okay to be a novice in this field, because I definitely am. And the way that Julian has broken down the information for us, you can't help but to want to know more and be a customer to Titan Insurance. So I say kudos to you.
Thank you so much.
We spoke about so many different things, but I want you to sum up something, based on, because I have a summary of things for our listening audience, but what is your takeaway? What is it that you want to give our listening audience based on the information that you gave us about life insurance, the policies you provide, the importance of having a trust, having those hard questions and conversations, asking a question, and there's no wrong question, because if you don't know, you don't know.
Absolutely. I think it's important that we all find resources, we find resources and people that we trust to give us and really plug us into the information that we need to lift up our family and our community. We're a small enough community, and I believe that we have enough resources in this community that we can really take care of our own. We can take care of ourselves, and it's really just through all of us kind of reaching over the aisle and saying, "Hey, how can I help? How can I be of service?" And that's what we're here to do. That's what Titan Insurance is here to do is not to tell anyone that you need this insurance or you have to have this insurance, but instead, how can we be of service? Whether it just be through educating you and giving you information.
Continue.
Looks like you froze on me there a little bit. Can you still hear me? Uh-oh.
So based on, I guess we're having a little technical issues because that was a power surge that we just experienced. So with the power surge, we're here speaking with Julian West and talking about the insurance and being a part of that.
Uh-oh. We did pretty good. We got through most of the show. I'm not sure if I'm still live. If anyone can hear me, I see a question came up. You can contact me via my phone number, which is 517-488-7332. And there's my email as well, julian@titan-vi.com. I'm not sure if I'm still live, but if I am, I definitely want to thank Camela. Oh, okay. So Camela's coming back here. Okay, looks like we got you back.
Your dream come to life. That is the mission behind Kiki Creations. We're more than a decorating service. We put our all into taking in every detail of your vision and transforming that into breathtaking events. Whether you're celebrating a wedding, retirement, throwing a massive gala, or having an intimate dinner, let Kiki Creations create the moment of your dreams. Celebrate love, laughter, and the moments that really matter with Kiki Creations.
Infinitely me. Handcrafted, intentional, timeless.
Are you considering owning a firearms and don't know what steps to take? Call VI Guns and Ammo LLC. They are the perfect place to offer you basic firearm classes. They have the application fee. They'll do full background checks for you and assist you with all the ins and outs and the logistics of owning a firearm in the Virgin Islands. Go on, give them a call, 305-333-8802. VI Guns and Ammo LLC. That's the place to assist you with all your firearm training needs. Call them today.
Your dream come to life. That is the mission behind Kiki Creations. We're more than a decorating service. We put our all into taking in every detail of your vision and transforming that into breathtaking events. Whether you're celebrating a wedding, retirement, throwing a massive gala, or having an intimate dinner, let Kiki Creations create the moment of your dreams.
So, Julian, as I said,
Celebrate
I'm
love,
so glad that he's
laughter,
here to be
and
our
the
guest.
moments that
So I
really
just say,
matter with
finish up your
Kiki
closing
Creations.
remarks, because, technology is technology.
Technology
But
always.
I want to say thank you so much to Julian West of Titan Insurance for being a part of Let's Talk About You. He had a wealth of information and knowledge to share with us today. I know that he had more to say, and before WAPRA and the internet goes out, I just want to say thank you for our listening audience. Thank you for the family and friends. Let's Talk About You.
Uh-oh. All right. Looks like we're having some streaming issues. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that tuned in. If you have any questions or you need any information, definitely feel free to reach out with the contact information that was provided. I hope everyone stays safe, considering the weather. Please watch out for your family and your friends. Again, thank you all for your time and for your ear today. Take care of yourselves.
Your dream come to life. That is the mission behind Kiki Creations. We're more than a decorating service. We put our all into taking in every detail of your vision and transforming that into breathtaking events. Whether you're celebrating a wedding, retirement, throwing a massive gala, or having an intimate dinner, let Kiki Creations create the moment of your dreams. Celebrate love, laughter, and the moments that really matter with Kiki Creations.